So welcome back, everybody. We are back on the trails again, busting through all the hurricane damage from the last couple of years. My ultimate goal is I've set some time aside this afternoon and all day tomorrow. We've got a few hundred yards of trails to bust through to get back out to the food plot. I don't know if it's possible. We're just now coming out of the pine tree forest that we cleared in the last episode, and now we're starting to go into the swamp area. It dramatically starts dropping downhill from here. Normally there's water in here, but we've been in a drought, and that's the reason a lot of these trees are on the ground, because this area typically stays saturated. It's full of hardwoods, they have shallow roots, and saturated ground, well, not good whenever hurricanes and high winds come. So I'm expecting to have way more tree damage in here. A lot of stuff's hung up. It's going to be dangerous. I don't know if we can get cut through or not, but that is the plan. Testing out my new chainsaw and bucket carrier on the excavator. So we're just going to cut, throw stuff out of the way, cut. This keeps me having to just go walk way ahead of the machine. All right, let's get back at it. We got a mess from here on out. Ankle rollers and just junk as far as you can see that way until we get out to the food plot. But man, we are making excellent progress, y'all, with this grapple. I haven't really panned the camera out left and right, but there is a lot of trees down. We'll take a ride in here at the end of this episode and I'll show you the mess that we have just got to deal with. Oh, I meant to rotate that. Now the good news is some of the stuff that we've done cut was actually good. There's a few pine logs. I think I could use as sawmill logs, but I got to cut them pretty quick. Aggravating vines. I've been fighting this thing forever. I'm gonna see if I can twist it and break it. There it goes. Oh, that joker has just been a thorn in my side. Be careful I don't twist into a hydraulic hose, so I'm watching that. So anyways, I was saying, I found a couple of pine logs that I'm actually going to be able to use. And I found a few oak logs that are already pretty well seasoned. Some bark's starting to fall off, but looks solid enough on the inside. We can use them as firewood logs. So I've started kind of stacking some off to the side. That wasn't my plans right now. I just want my trails clean, but I guess while I'm seeing some good logs, why not? Oh, it is so nice being able to spin this grapple just and work around trees like this. I mean, this is 10 times faster than a tractor grapple because I just can't work off the sides of trails with the tractor grapple. Let's keep plugging away at this. I mean, I have got a lot of work ahead of me. I don't know if I can get it all done today or if I'm going to have to get back out in the morning. Vines, I hate them with a passion. Bummer. That log fell down on my bar. Man, I hope it didn't pinch it. Well, I know a way to unpinch my bar. All right, so boy, does it feel good to have a big section of my trails back. Now we still have another decent sized section on this side of what is typically a swamp. It's just dry now, and it appears to be the hardest hit. So it's gonna have by far the most and biggest trees down. We're just gonna have to pick away at that in another episode. So while yeah, we've still got trees, no doubt about that, what the camera doesn't show y'all is you just can't see because of the little shrubs. There is just trees laid down everywhere, all out there. You can see the big root balls and stuff up here up close. Like that was a big, beautiful oak right here. Gone, rotted, way too far gone. The bark's falling off of it in sections. We've got trees down just everywhere, all up in here. I don't think y'all can see out there in the woods, but just tree after tree down. Looks like I lost the majority of my big oaks. Looks like another nice oak right here. Another nice oak up in there. It's just kind of the world I'm in right now. As we come down here, it's just another tree after another tree. Sadly, yeah, there's another oak. So I lost a huge portion of my oaks. This is a really nice one right here. And then it just keeps going and going. Tree down and tree down. We're gonna have to, my trail continues to go through here and then cuts across the swamp. And that section over there, oh, it's gonna break your heart when you get over there. I'm talking pines that I can't even get a third of the way around my hand, like 100-foot pines down, just old ancient ones laid down everywhere, rotted, no good, way too far gone for sawmill logs. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna complain too much because we still have a decent amount of woods. You know, my parents' place was almost just wiped away. They lost near 20 acres of just what was beautiful, and I mean beautiful hardwoods. They caught the eastern eye wall of all these storms, and thankfully we caught the western eye wall, which is after it's done spun on land and slowed down. So we've got tops of trees blown down like this and trees that are gonna rot and go away. It is what it is. But what this allows is all the sun to get into the canopy, and all these little trees you're seeing around behind me, well, they'll eventually grow up. Maybe not in my lifetime to some of what I lost, but they're still coming. All right, on to some good news. Well, we have a trail nice and clear now that we can come out here and hunt, walk, ride through and just enjoy the property. I've got logs staged all up and down the trails both directions. So even though a lot of this wood's been on the ground for quite a long time now, I still see some stuff that I could potentially put on the sawmill, and for sure I'm seeing stuff that we can cut up into firewood. We'll just have to come back out here with the log skidding winch behind the tractor and start dragging stuff way out of the woods that you just can't even see on camera. All right, y'all, even though it breaks my heart seeing my property completely changed, it makes me happy that we have a good section of trail back. A lot more of this work. Thought I heard a snake. Thought I heard something slithering on the ground back there. Anywho, a lot more of this trail work coming. Oh my goodness, am I so blessed to have some amazing equipment. Hopefully y'all are enjoying this. We actually got some cool builds coming up for some things that I need out here so we can start coming in and using the woods. I won't say much more, but yeah, really cool builds coming. We'll catch you on the next one.